Alrighty, since a lot of people are interested in what haunted attractions look like in broad daylight, similar to people that like to see dark rides with the lights on, we're going to do the stroll at Barrett Park in broad daylight. There are employees here, but they're way over there. So you could say they took care of the line. Pumpkin ticket counter's still there. And now to show you how not so impressive, or maybe impressive, things are. So I hope. Here's the Terror in the Woods sign. See, it's a lot more basic with the lights on. And there was a blue light over here. Oh, there it is, right there. There's the skull. And here's where we'd hear the haunted tales of the woods. Through we go. And there would be jack-o'-lanterns lit along the way. Here's a basic structure. Very basic. But on Halloween, in a dark walkthrough, it did its job very well. You don't need anything super fancy. That's the neat thing about dark rides. This was not staffed when I walked through. Either that or it was just not well lit. There was supposedly somebody that was in here. And it's just your basic carriage. Walk through. And here's where that bouncing demon in a box is, right there. Skeleton right there. Zombie type guy there. And you might remember seeing a zombie jumping up and down in red light. That's this stunt right there. And you get to see how basic the structures are. Since, like I said, in a dark ride environment, you don't really need anything. Here's the cabin where the chainsaw guy lives, or chainsaw guy number 1. Can we go in? Yeah, we can. You can't see anything really, but there's nothing really here except for a chair for the guy to wait for people to come along, some spare parts, cauldron, table, chairs with a leftover coffee. Shut that. Let's continue. Here's a curtain to block everything so you can't see what's going on. Very basic looking bridge which you can't really see in the daylight. At night. One of the monsters hid in these leaves. I'm sure you could see it in the video. Nothing really to see here, so just some vines dangling. Here's a house that looks pretty well built. Butcher shop. As we go through, there's a victim there. And in the daylight, you can see some of this stuff a lot better. Like, this cobweb probably won't show up. You can see some of it, even with the lights on. There's where the butcher stood. And here's where one of the victims were laying down at.
I want some beef.
And an almost empty bottle of water that we just saw right there. Although I did not see the skeleton chandelier or that skull. I mean, they try to go pretty fast through here. Get another curtain to hide another curtain version of crash doors. And again, we had some monsters hiding here. That spider was actually visible, but I didn't see that or any of the bats. And the evil spider that jumps out at you stunt is right there. And more spiders there. Yeah, even with the naked eye, it's a little hard to see. Go back. Here's a fairly long trail right here. It's got a nice little stone detail which you couldn't see. I believe this is one that has drapes that are just a little too much. Okay, we couldn't see because a lot of the fog effects are these fake stone walls, which actually look pretty good. I mean, you can still see the seams where the styrofoam pieces are put together. Something went there. And again, more barriers to keep things hidden. Here's where you don't want to disturb the ghouls of the night. Very basic. There's a dead guy. I believe something was down here, but I didn't see it or it was not installed. Here's another one. Sony autofocus doing its thing right now. And I'll go up like that. Here we go. Out here. Apparently, let me go back a little bit. Apparently something was hung here at one point. I didn't see anything. Don't know if it ever was.
You want to do a shortcut out? Alright, come this way.
And if you've seen the video where the kids bailed out, there's where they bailed out. And actually, now that I remember, this is where the fog was a little too thick. It's nothing more than just a basic 2x4 structure with a lot of curtains that were just a little too thick. There you go. You're not really missing anything there. Alrighty. There's your basic studded structure with some angle bracing. Then we come to the troll bridge.
Dare to cross my bridge.
Here's
Beware
across the bridge. Which, for those of you that might be wondering, doesn't really cross anything. It's pretty much there for effect. Just a little bit of a trough. Here's an outhouse. I don't think anybody was in this thing. I don't know if it was part of it at one point or was supposed to be. And we'll spend a little more time here because this is where it gets a little more involved in terms of level of detail. And you can see where, unfortunately, the actors were already out of the graves by the time I got here. But here's a couple of graves where some of the actors rose out of. And hidden in here was the second chainsaw guy. And this was very well lit. I mean, it might not have shown it on video, but to the human eye, it did show up fairly well. And hidden over there is Barrett Park Wasteland. Haunted Hollow. Ironically, when you step through this gate, you were done. The adventure was over at this point.
And that's it.
And that's a look at what the haunted trail looked like. Oh, and there's a carriage right there that wasn't really visible. This is all, or should I say the ending of the trail, comes right out behind the tennis courts that are long abandoned. You then followed a trail that went up this driveway, back up to approximately where we started. And that's what the Haunting of Barrett Park looks like with the lights on. In this case, daylight. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.